I hope I am recording. Okay. Okay, I am recording now. Thank you. Okay. I'm not sure how you can resize the simulator window. Maybe some option here. Okay. Well, when you go here, you have additional, maybe in settings. Okay, advanced. Not sure about that. Okay, so well, once you have started the Android device, the virtual device, okay, but you have a that's a fully functional Android smartphone. Okay, you can have here, for example, you will see a lot of notifications, so on. There is the option to set up a virtual SD card, and well, I have something about preparing for setup. Okay, I will try to close that. Go at the beginning, and for example, you can open the browser. Okay, and well, this is actually a okay. I accept and continue. I want sync to Chrome, and well, you can if you want, you can navigate. Okay. Okay, so you can do whatever you want here with the phone. Okay, additional stuff that is useful. Okay, you can also, of course, you can shut down, you can power off the virtual device. You can change the volume up or down. You can rotate the phone. We'll rotate left. Okay, so I have this one. Okay, you can take a screenshot. Okay, so you can emulate the camera. Even you can, for example, we will see that also. You can access the camera from an application that you have developed. Okay, so when you try to, you can even emulate the access to the use of the camera. Okay, if we click here. Take a screenshot. Okay, now with that I take a screenshot. Sorry, I take a screenshot of the virtual device screen. Okay, the camera, it should be here. Sorry. Okay, and hello. Okay, so you have false. Okay, a fictional camera. Well, I think that we should be able to move. Okay, here and here you can change. Okay, and this is the front camera. Okay, and you can also take the main camera, the one on the rear of the phone. Okay. In addition to that, you can also click on the buttons here to navigate. Okay, in the Android device. And if you open that, you have some extended controls where you can choose a lot of things. The location where the screenshots are saved, and just to some information about you can emulate some input from the sensors of the phone. For example, the location. Okay, you have here by default the smartphone is located in California, I think, but for example, I can move it to Valencia. Okay, and when I change that, I am virtually changing the location of the of my virtual device. Okay, so for example, if my application is using the location for something, for example, for discovering something in the near the user. Okay, so I can simulate the movement of the user of the behavior of the application in different locations. Okay, I can also emulate the configuration of the network. Okay, the network type, GSM, full, UMTS, so on. The signal strength, even, okay, from poor to known to good. Okay, the voice status, if we can make a phone call or not. We are at home, roaming, searching, emergency calls only, and so on. And the availability of data connection, okay, the same. We can emulate the level of the battery, okay, and you can see that the icon of the battery changes in the screen. The health of the battery, okay, good, failed, over voltage, overheated, so on. If the virtual device is charging or not, okay. For example, I am going to connect it, okay, and now it's charging, okay, and the battery status, charging, discharging, so on, okay. I will discharge it. Okay. So this is relevant. It depends on the application that you are developing. Okay. If your application is supposed to make an action depending on the battery status, on the charging, or whether it is connected to the charger or not, it may be relevant. Okay. Again, the camera. Okay. You can define some virtual scene images. Okay. Okay, you can emulate a call. Okay, for example, or even as an SMS message. For example, I will set. I'm going to change the text of the SMS, and it works. Pop. Okay. Okay, you can emulate that. And also you can emulate a call. Okay. Okay, actually here the emulated device does not support the directional pad, okay, the D-pad that we saw at the beginning, the configuration of the device. The microphone, okay, either the virtual headset plug is inserted or not, and so on. For example, think about the typically a music player, for example, that it is playing music when you have the headset inserted, okay, but when you extract the connection of the headset, it stops playing the music. Okay, so you can also emulate that, and you can also emulate whether the headset has a microphone or not. Okay, you can emulate the fingerprint. Okay, and touch the sensor. Okay, and well, additional sensors, the accelerometer, and you can change again the rotation, the movement. You can rotate the device again, and some additional sensors that your device may have or not. Okay, proximity, pressure, light, and so on. And that's all. That's the most important. Okay. So, okay, you can resize. Okay, right. No, I have seen that the option to resize, but ahora, okay, here, okay. Thank you for the hint. It's not easy to find it. Okay, maybe in the other one, yeah, in the other also. In all the corners, you can resize it. Okay, so you can adapt it to the size of the real screen of your laptop. Okay. So that's it. And when you are tired of playing with the virtual device, you can just power it, okay? And notice that the virtual device didn't disappear, okay? What you have done is to power off the virtual device, but not closing, okay? I can again, okay, get it again, okay? If I close here, yes, I close. The state of the device is saved, okay? So when we replay again, when we rerun, when we execute again the virtual device, we will have the same state as before, okay? Take that into account when you are, for example, again, executing some application and so on, okay? Maybe you may find that something in the virtual device that was running may interfere with the application or with the new version of the application that you plan to test. Okay, take that into account. And again, you can always go to the virtual device manager and execute it. Pop, it's back. Okay, for example, okay, we still have the message that we have virtually sent before. Okay, I will close it now. Okay, so I invite you to open the virtual device manager and to play a bit with it. Okay. I'm going back to the presentation. Okay. So you can access the emulator, okay, from the cell, but it depends. It may be useful in some cases. Okay. You can also use ADB, okay, to perform operations on a virtual device, or what is also useful, on a real device. Okay, you can connect also a real device by USB to your computer and to test applications on the real device. Okay, you can access the real device from Android Studio. Okay, so here you have the ADB tool, and you can use it to obtain a list of the devices, either physically connected or virtual emulated devices. You can execute specific commands on a device, okay? And depending on whether you have several devices running or connected on off or only one, you will need to specify the name of the device, okay, with this parameter. So you can also, with ADB, you can also open a shell prompt in the device, okay, and you can use several commands, okay, in this shell. ls to list directories and files, to create a directory, to delete a directory, to delete files, to move, to show the content of a file with cat, of course, to change directory, to show the current directory, and show the available disk space, change permission, and finally to close the shell. Okay, if we have also with ADB, we have created an SD card image on the device. Okay, for example, you have seen that when we created the virtual device, we have the option to emulate an SD card. Okay, or we can later on to create it with the utility MK SD card. Okay, then we can upload files to the SD card, okay, with the push or with the push command or with the pull command to get it back. Okay, and putting here the path of the SD card. Okay, so also there is a number, okay, that will appear in the emulator window, okay, which is a port number, okay. So you will never use that, okay, but you can also establish a telnet connection, okay, to this port, okay. And well, also all the stuff that we have seen that we can do with the graphical interface, we can also do that via telnet. Okay, here you have some. Okay, here you have the full documentation on how to connect to the virtual device. Okay, which is running. So we have already seen that. Okay, so the advantage of the emulator is a very good advantage. Okay, you can experiment with a wide range of devices that probably you won't have. You have an iPhone, you don't have an Android phone, or even the problem, or one problem that we face when developing in Android is that there is a lot of different devices. Okay, not only in terms of the software, but also in terms of physical characteristics. Okay, in terms of the hardware that they are offering to the user. So you can, with the emulator, you can emulate, okay, many different devices and ensure that your application will run correctly in such devices, or even at least to define beforehand on which devices do you plan that your application will be able to run. Okay, also you can communicate to emulators, okay, that can be also useful. And well, some of the disadvantages, well, you don't have the real user experience. Okay, so typically you will first test the application on virtual devices, and later on you will test in real devices, and it's slower than a real device. Okay, and some hardware functionalities like Bluetooth or USB are not supported. Okay, or the support may not be complete. Okay, and that for developing and for debugging. Okay, we have also several tools. Okay, for debugging, for logging, for inspecting the layouts, and for profiling. Okay, our applications. Well, from the development environment, as other development environments, we can stop the application in a given sentence. Okay, so we can execute the code step by step. Okay, we can execute a sentence, and if it's a message, we can send to an object and then enter to debug the method, and when we can continue the execution until the next breakpoint or when the application finishes. Okay, step by step execution. We can also do logging. Okay, the Android API offers a class called android.util.log. Okay, that you have. You can access several static methods for writing information in a log file. Okay, and well, we can use these methods in our applications. Okay, for info login information, debugging, warnings, and also errors. So there are several ways to show the log, okay, of the device, either from ADB with the ADB tool with the logcat command, or direct entering into the shell of the device and then executing logcat, okay? Or from the development environment, you can also access the log here, okay? Okay, you have seen the source message of starting ADB, and let me check that. I'm going to execute this demo application in the virtual device that we have just created and see what do we see in the log. Okay, so you start getting a lot of information. Okay, and here when you start developing your applications, you will get funny Java errors and so on. Okay, that you will need to debug. Okay. Then we can filter we are in the verbose mode. Okay. So in everything, we can filter the log messages. Okay. And we can have several emulators running at the same time. So we can filter also by a given emulator. Okay. And also by the processes. We have already started that. And let's see what happens now. Okay, we are here, and if we click here, I don't know if there is anything. No, there is nothing in the. Okay. And here you can filter debug, information, warning, and so on. Okay, going back here. Okay, this is the content of the main log file. Okay, we have other log files. Okay, for example, for message radio, for messages related to the network, and event for system events. Okay, and we can from ADB to specify which file do you want to display. Okay, to access. In addition to that, we have the layout inspector, okay, that can be used to explore how the components of a running activity are organized, okay? With this one, open that. Okay, here you have the documentation. And let's see if I can access that. Tools. Okay, the layout inspector. Nothing to show here. Okay. Okay. And okay, you have also a profiling tool to show the memory that's been used, running threads, so on from an application, okay, from the profiler. Okay, that you can also access it here. Okay, and you can, well, you have everything here from this from our application. Okay, we do things. I think my being a bit slow. Okay, because my device is not responding. Okay, I'm going to close that. close up. Okay, thank you, virtual device. Okay. Okay, so these are, well, we will see. Okay, in the laboratories and in the course, we will have a lot of tools from the Android Studio. Okay, but at least for start developing and start implementing some applications with the code editor, virtual devices, and executing directly on the virtual device that you have chosen, you have created your application, is quite easy. Okay, you will have the log cat here, and you will see any error or any issue that happening with your application. Okay, any question on that, on this part? Okay, fine. Are you still there? Okay. No? Okay, no question, but you are still there. Okay. Okay, so let's move with the well, in the virtual classroom. Okay, you will see that I have added the slides that we have seen yesterday and today. Yeah, yesterday part A, today part B, and the first part of the topic 2, where we are going to deal with the graphical user interface. Okay, we are going to start with activities. You can open that if you want. And I have here the slides. Okay. So in this part, we are going to take a look into the activity class and the intent class. Okay, if you remember from yesterday, we told that activities 1.1 was one of the main components of an Android application. Okay, the activity usually displays a user interface to the user. Okay, and we create intents to activate other components either in our own Java application or in the device, okay, in the system. So what we do is that we use our applications typically will be composed of several activities, okay, each one displaying a user interface, and from a very basic point of view, we will use intents to navigate through activities. Okay. We will start by activity class. Okay, and I think this is one of the most important parts of the course. Okay, if you understand how activities work in Android, it's not complicated. Okay, you will have a good basis to at least conceptually, okay, design the your Android application, okay, your Android project. So in Android, each screen, okay, that as I told you is shown to the user, actually is an instance of a subclass of the class activity, okay. The class activity offers several methods that are related to the life cycle of activities, okay, which are 6: create, start, pause, resume, stop, or destroy. Okay, so these methods are called automatically by the system. Okay, but of course we can, if needed, override them. Okay, and for each screen, okay, for each activity, there is at least one XML file, okay, which is called a layout, that specifies which are the components, okay, contained in the layout and how they are organized. Okay, these will be the components that are displayed when the user is in a given activity. Okay, and when the user interact with the components, when the user clicks on a button or types some text or whatever, some events will be launched. Okay, so we will deal with these events, okay, by implementing methods of an event listener. Okay, this is quite This is very Java-like, okay? How Java works. So as I told you, from a design point of view, the main idea, okay, the baseline is that each activity should represent a specific action that can be performed by the user. Okay, so if to do something, okay, you need several actions, okay, you may require different activities, okay, from the same application or from a different one, okay. Think about a file explorer application, okay. I will have an activity displaying all the files on a folder, all the files in the device, and when the user choose one of the files, I will open the file. I will probably, if I open a PDF file, I will open a PDF reader application. If I open a picture, a photo, I will open the gallery, okay? I can use it to, again, as we explained yesterday, we can use that to ask the system to execute a different application, okay? And if you think about the Android system, okay, we are continuously navigating between activities. Okay, we are going from one activity to other, and then we are going, for example, going back. Okay, here what we are using is the task back stack. Okay, that's internal to each application. We will see it now. Okay. Okay, so for example, a very simple example. Okay, the user starts the browser. Okay, the navegador. Okay, and in the task back stack, the first activity is the navegador, the browser. Okay, later on, okay, we click on a PDF file. Okay, and we open, okay, a new activity, which is the PDF reader. Okay, so the new activity that is displayed to the user is this PDF application, and in the task back stack, we will have the PDF reader on top, and the browser will be below. Then I can choose to send the PDF, okay, with the sharing option that we have in almost all the applications, to share the PDF, to send the PDF by email. Okay, so I will open another activity to share the PDF file. Okay, and again, the task back stack will be updated, okay, with the sharing activity on top of the back stack. Okay, so when the user, okay, finishes sending the email, okay, this activity, okay, the sharing activity will be destroyed, okay, automatically by the system, okay, and the system, the Android, automatically will reactivate, okay, will restart the previous activity of the task back stack. Okay, so we will go back to the PDF reader. Okay, so all these activities are created, are stopped, or are reactivated while the application is running. Okay, these changes in the activities may happen because the user does some action, for example, press the back button, or does the back gesture on the screen, or click on home. Okay, but also the Android system can stop an activity, okay, that is suspended if the system itself needs additional memory for the activity that is visible in that moment. Okay, Android will always give preference to the activity that is shown to the user. Okay, because we don't want to there is nothing worse than the application that blocks the user interface. Okay, so the user, in this case, the user experience is much much worse. So activities can be in 3 stages, let's say. Okay, the first one, when the activity is been executed or has been reactivated by the system. Okay, in this case, the activity is visible. Okay, and the user can interact with it. Okay, this is the normal situation. It also may happen that the activity is paused. Okay, for example, in this case, when the activity is paused, the activity will be visible to the user. Okay, but the user will not be able to interact with it. Okay, for example, because a dialog has been shown in the screen. Okay, and in this case, the system could eliminate the activity. Okay, and the activity will be stopped. Okay, when it's not visible to the user at all. Okay, and actually in this case the system can delete it. Okay, but if the activity was deleted when it wasn't visible and the user navigates back, the system will recreate it. Okay, this is something that Android manages in a transparent way. Okay, so the methods related to the life cycle of an activity are the following. Okay, on create, on start, on resume, on pause, on restart, on stop, and on destroy. Okay, these methods are called. Okay, we don't call these methods. These methods are called by the system. Okay, and when developing an activity, we will have to override some or all of these methods in our class. Okay, in our activities. The method that you will always override is the onCreate. Okay, in the onCreate method, we say what the application should be done when the activity is being created. Okay, and for example, the first thing we do is to display something on the screen. Okay, that's something that we can implement on the onCreate method. So, for example, a very simple one. Okay, we have an application with 2 activities. Okay, A1 and activity 1 and activity 2. Okay, and the main activity or the first activity is the 1. Okay, this activity is loaded when the application is launched. Okay, so the activity manager in Android will first of all call the onCreate method. Later on, secondly, we'll call the onStart method, and finally, we'll call the onResume method. Okay, and the activity 1 will be on the task backstack, will be the only one. And when we have completed these 3 methods, the user can interact with the activity. Okay, so if from activity 1 we activate activity 2, okay, for example, think about this one being the an email client, okay, and I have a button for creating a new email. Okay, so from the activity 1 I have the button, I click on the button, and the button triggers the launching of the second activity. Okay, for actually writing the email. So first of all, the system, before activating activity 2, will stop activity 1. Okay, and we'll call the method, the activity manager will call the method on pause, and we'll call the method on stop. Okay, so after that, the system will create activity 2. Okay, and again, as it happened with the activity 1, the system will call the onCreate, the onStart, and the onResume method. Okay, and the task backstack, once the activity 2 is visible to the user and the user can start writing the email, the task backstack will be updated accordingly. If, for example, the user goes back, okay, because finally he or she didn't want to send the email, okay, or finishes sending the email, the system, before going back to the list of the emails, okay, to the first activity, will destroy activity A2, okay? We'll call the method on stop, the method on pause, sorry, the method on stop, and finally the method on destroy, okay? If you look, the difference is that when we are navigating from one activity to another one, we are just stopping the application. We are just stopping the activity. We are not destroying it, okay? And in this case, we are destroying it because we are finished with this activity, okay? And then the system again automatically will resume activity 1, okay? Will call the method on restart, on start, and on resume, okay? This allows us to override, depending on the functionality that we want to achieve, this allows us to implement several things to do some actions to perform when the activity is reactivated, okay? For example, well, here you have the whole life cycle, but for example, think about some application to take notes, okay? So we could have a list of the notes, okay? I create a new note. I open as the second activity to write down the new note, okay? Some reminder or whatever. And when I am finished with that, I close the activity. But for example, here I want to update the list of the nodes, okay? So I want to I don't want to come back exactly to the same state as before, as the activity had. Okay, I want to update, for example, something that I have stored in the database or whatever. Okay, so in these methods, I can do this kind of update. Okay, here you have in a picture, okay, the whole life cycle of the activity class. Okay, when in Android I start an activity, first of all, I call the system calls the onCreate method, on start, on resume. Okay, and then here the activity is running. Okay, after these three methods. Okay, if another activity comes in front of the activity, I will call the onPause method. Okay, but in this case, the activity will still be visible to the user. Okay, if the activity is no longer visible, the system will call the on stop. The system will stop the activity. Okay, and in this case, what may happen? Okay, if it's just as another activity comes in front of the activity, the system calls the onPause method, and when the activity comes to the foreground, it will execute the onResume method. Okay, pause, resume. ¿Vale? Pausa, reanudo. If the activity is no longer visible because I have another activity completely hiding the previous one, the first activity will be stopped. Okay, and in this case, it may happen two things. Okay, the normal way is that okay, we are working here in the second activity, and when the second activity is finished, is destroyed, the first activity comes to the foreground. We will call the on restart and the on restart and the on resume, and again the activity will be running. Okay. It may also happen that other applications need memory. So in this case, the system will recreate the first one. Okay, and of course, when the activity is shut down, the onDestroy method will be called. Okay, we will come back to this several times. Okay. So, for example, if we are going to the example he had here, wait. Okay, also this is a bit complex. I'm going to create a new project, maybe a more simple one. Okay, new project. And an empty activity. An empty activity. An empty activity. Okay. Okay, this is the most simple activity the most simple application you may find. Okay, let's wait a bit for the Android project to be displayed. Okay. Okay, so here a very simple activity, a very simple application, okay, with nothing at all. Okay, we have the manifest, if you remember from yesterday, where open that. Okay, we have only one activity declared. Okay, the main activity, and we with this intent filter, we say that this will be the activity that is started at the beginning. Okay, and in the main activity, okay, you can see that we are overriding the onCreate method. Okay, the onCreate method is the first one. Okay, and on this method, sorry, here. Okay, we are calling the super one, and we are just doing that. Okay, set content view layout activity main. Okay, what we are doing in this line is that on the at the very beginning of the activity, okay, on the onCreate method, we are telling the application what should be, we are telling the activity, sorry, what should be displayed. Okay, in this case, we are setting with this method set content view, we are displaying this layout. Okay, the layout is a resource which is here. Okay, in the activity main. Okay, you remember from yesterday, the layout allows us to say how the different components of the user interface are displayed, okay, in the screen. So this is the layout, and there is here hello world. Okay, yeah, I'm going to change that with hola Valencia. Vale. Okay, so when I run this application, this is completely stupid application. Okay. Now the application will be executed. Notice that this is a completely dumb application. I think it's taking at least 1 minute to be deployed on the emulator. Okay. Okay, now it's installing right now, launching activity. Okay, and okay, hola Valencia. So the application, we have done here to do the most simple application you may think about is to override the onCreate method and to say what should be displayed on the screen to the user. In this case, we are setting the content view with this layout, and this layout, which is defined as a resource, okay, sorry, here contains just a text view, okay, with the Hola Valencia message, okay. We can, of course, complicate this a lot, okay. Just a very simple example that you can easily replicate and you can start playing a bit with that. Sí, se está grabando la clase. Okay, go back here. Okay, so we will give an overview to these different methods. Okay, on create, on start, resume, blah blah blah. Okay, so the on create is called when the activity is created. Okay, it's actually like it performs the function of a constructor. Okay, the onCreate method will set the initial state of the activity. Okay, so the usual actions that we have seen in this example is first of all to call the super onCreate. Okay, to set the content with the send content view. Okay, we say which views and the layout which are defined as a resource, as an XML file, okay? And then we can get references to the views, okay? The views are okay. Wait a moment, okay. Okay, this is a view, okay? The text is a view, okay? We can add things. We can add views. For example, we can add a button here, okay? We will play a bit with that, okay? We can for example, set the location to be centered, okay, with equal distance to each side of the screen and so on. And for example, this in okay, this one. For example, here we have added a button, okay. If we replay it, okay, we will have a button there, I hope. Okay. Okay, now we have the button. Okay, the button we have created. So we can set the 3 different views, okay, and then we can set listeners and we can set things around these views. Okay, so we can actually define which will be the behavior of our activity in our application when the user interact with some of the views. Okay, and we can send listeners for on click, on select, on whatever. Okay, so we will be able to get reference to the views, okay, and we will configure the views, for example, to register to this event listeners, okay. So you will see that we have an argument, okay, of type bundle, which is it's just an information store that uses string as a key, okay. So we can use that to store some key value pairs, okay, and that can be recovered later, okay. Usually in the onCreate method, okay, we don't we just what we are using is the, for example, here you can see that the onCreate is using the save instance state as an argument. Okay, we are creating always when we create the activity, we are creating the last saved state of this activity. Okay, if there is if this is the first time that we are running the application and consequently running the activity, there will be nothing saved there. Okay, but in some cases that allows the system to recreate the activity as it was when it was destroyed or stopped. Okay, so after the onCreate, as you have seen, we call the onRestart method. Okay, that it's called when the activity it's called when the activity is shown after it has been stopped. Okay, if we go back to the life cycle, okay, the onStart method will be called after the application being after when the application is stopped. Okay, so again, for example, if we are you will use that. Okay, if you think about an application that, as I told you before, does something in the database, update something, store something in the database, and I want to update the database when I are navigating back to the activity. Okay, I am navigating back to a list or whatever. Okay, I should ensure that the code reading the database is at least on the onStart method, okay, not on the onCreate, because otherwise I wouldn't update correctly the activity reading the data in the database. Okay, after the onRestart method, the activity is not yet visible to the user. Okay, and the onStart method is called when the activity is already visible. Okay, so that may condition again the behavior of the application. Okay, and the onResume method is called when the activity is visible. Okay, and is ready to interact with the user. Okay, for example, here we can display something to something dynamic, an animation, or so on. Okay. Okay. And once we are transitioning to another activity, we call the onPause method. Okay, this is called when the activity is going to be stopped, but before being stopped. Okay, so here we can, if there is something dynamic, we can stop it here. Okay, or for example, we can store something in the something that we want to be persistent. Okay, and the onStop method is called when the activity is no longer displayed. Okay, and finally, again, the onDestroy method is called when the activity is going to be deleted. Okay, so in this case, on the onDestroy, we will override the onDestroy method, for example, typically to release resources that were reserved when launching the application. Okay. When the system destroys the activity, okay, for example, when there is a rotation of the screen, okay, when you rotate the screen, actually, the system, Android system, in order to display again the activity with a different configuration, what the system does is to destroy the activity and to recreate it. Okay, so what happens is that before destroying the activity, the system in a transparent way, calls the method on save instance state. Okay, so save all the status information of the activity in this bundle that then the system will use to recreate the activity in the onCreate method. Okay, that's something that for you as a developer is quite transparent. Okay, you don't need to worry about that, but it's important that you are familiar with that. Okay, so you understand what's happened really behind the activity, behind the application. Okay, so well, this is an example, but it's a bit outdated. Okay, so you could, for example, if needed, the onCreate method will call the save instance bundle. Okay, as you have seen, we will set the layout with the send content to create the views. We get reference to the views and so on. And for example, if the save instance is not null, okay, we could extract some information from the bundle. Okay, remember that we can put information, we can put strings into it. Okay, and that's all regarding activities. Okay, any question on that, on this part? Because I know that it's a bit, it can be a bit complicated. Any question? Okay, perfect. So, well, we are already here from 1 hour and a half. So I want you to propose to finish the lesson. I am going to propose you a very short exercise. Okay. So okay, what I want you that I'm going to propose you is that you think about, for example, you take your smartphone, okay, either Android or iPhone. I don't mind about that. Okay, you choose one application, okay, and you try to think how many activities, okay, are implemented in this application, okay, and that you write down diagram like this one, okay, showing the flow of activities in the application. Okay, do you follow me? Let's say to analyze an application that you have installed in your phone and try to discover which are the activities, okay, that this application is using. Okay, probably most applications are more complex and use another more complex components than playing activities. Okay, but I think it's a good exercise to wonder how a given mobile application is actually designed, okay, in terms of user interfaces and activities screens that are displayed to the user. Okay, so you can do that. Okay, you can do something like that. Okay, very simple in a file or in a slide. Okay, just put the name of the application and try to indicate which are the different activities, the different screens that the application is using. Okay, for example, if we go here, let's open this one. Okay, you can think that here, for example, we have a first activity, and when we click on the message, we have a second activity here. Okay, we can navigate back. Okay, here. Okay, so I'm going to create a task in the virtual classroom. Okay, This is not compulsory. I am not going to evaluate it, okay? But what I would propose is that you do that during the 30 minutes that remain, okay? You submit it to the virtual classroom, and next week at the beginning of the class, I will pick some of the diagrams that you have sent, and I will invite you to explain it. Okay? Everything understood? Si queréis hablamos en español ya. Podéis hablar si queréis, ¿eh? Feel free. Okay, I'm going to create okay, y data de venciment. Today, I don't want you to be working on that too much. Okay. Okay, you have the task here. Okay, it can be an slide, Word, a PDF file. I don't mind about that. Okay, maybe I think with some kind of PowerPoint is the easiest for you to do that. Okay, but think about something very simple. Okay, choose the application, the name of the application, and you display the flow and the transitions between different activities. Okay, what you think that are activities. Okay, and how the task backstack is in any activity. Okay, taking also into account that in this case we are navigating from one activity to another, but it may happen that from a given activity you can open one new activity or another new activity. Okay, so the situation may become complex. Okay, so the goal is that you get an idea of how a mobile application is designed. ¿Ok? Sí, podéis elegir cualquier aplicación. Si cogéis juegos va a ser un poquillo más difícil de ver, ¿vale? Mejor coger aplicaciones tipo, pues eso, eh, bloc de notas, correo electrónico, WhatsApp, Telegram, ¿vale? Pero bueno, seguro que tenéis un reproductor de música, la galería de fotos, ¿vale? Intentad pensar cómo está, ¿vale? Cogéis básicamente, lo explico de nuevo, ¿vale? Elegís una aplicación de. Hemos visto en la clase de hoy, ¿vale? Que digamos las actividades son el componente fundamental, ¿vale? De las interfaces de usuario en Android, ¿vale? Pueden ser más complejas, ¿vale? Y lo son, normalmente lo son, ¿vale? Suelen ser más complejas, sobre todo las aplicaciones más modernas, ¿vale? Pero lo que es la actividad es el ladrillo fundamental, ¿vale? Para construir una aplicación. Entonces, una actividad lo que hace es mostrar una determinada interfaz, ¿vale? Una determinada configuración de pantalla, de componentes en la pantalla al usuario. Lo que tenéis que hacer es intentar pensar para una determinada aplicación, cualquiera que tengáis instalada en el móvil, cuáles son las actividades que está utilizando esa aplicación. O dicho de otra manera, si tuvieras que replicar una aplicación que tienes instalada en el móvil, ¿qué actividades definirías? ¿Vale? Sobre una aplicación real. ¿Me he explicado? Vale, que no, no es fácil. ¿Vale? Cogéis en un PowerPoint, lo pintáis y lo subís a la virtual. ¿Vale? Y la semana que viene, el martes, las más al azar, ¿vale? Presentamos dos o tres y las comentamos. Si no estoy todo el rato hablando yo. Y es horrible mirar al ordenador. Vale, voy a dejar de compartir yo ahora. Os he puesto fecha de hoy, ¿vale? Pero bueno, tampoco quiero que estéis ahí eh, haciéndolo toda la semana. Vamos, es algo que no lo voy a evaluar, ¿vale? Esto no forma parte de la nota, ¿vale? Entonces tampoco quiero que le dediquéis mucho tiempo más allá de esta media hora, ¿vale? Vale, a ver, de todas maneras voy a asegurarme de que en la configuración puedo. A ver. No tenéis fecha límite, ¿vale? He puesto fecha de vencimiento hoy, pero bueno, si lo entregáis mañana, pues mañana. Pero vamos, que no tenéis que dedicarle mucho más tiempo. No pasa nada si lo entregáis con retraso. ¿Vale? No, está bien. Está el data venciment, pero no tiene data limit. Sí que lo veremos, ¿vale? Pero bueno, ahí podéis empezar sobre las interfaces responsivas, ¿vale? Eh, por defecto, Android, cualquier layout es bastante responsivo, ¿vale? Según cómo definas el layout, puedes hacerlo más o menos responsivo, ¿vale? Lo que puedes hacer es o definir diferentes layouts, ¿vale? Básicamente hay dos estrategias, ¿vale? Se puede, como siempre, todo se puede complicar, ¿vale? Pero hay como dos estrategias. O defines el layout de una manera relativa, ¿vale? De tal manera que automáticamente Android lo adapte al tamaño de pantalla, ¿vale? O defines layouts específicos para cada tamaño de pantalla, ¿vale? A ver si, espérate si encuentro por aquí algún ejemplo. Vale, mira aquí. Un momento. Multiplication. Os comparto un momento en pantalla y luego vemos lo que comenta Carlos. Vale, aquí. Vale. Aquí tenéis la empty application, ¿vale? Vacía, ¿vale? Y recordad que aquí tenéis los layouts, ¿vale? Aquí solamente hay un layout, ¿vale? Y fijaos que hay algunas cosas que están puestas de manera relativa, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, esto está puesto un poco para arriba, ¿vale? Y el botón está 244 dps, ¿vale? Ya veremos los dps más adelante, por debajo del text view donde pone Hola Valencia, ¿vale? Esto se va a adaptar a distintos tamaños de pantalla, ¿vale? Aquí lo tengo en el... A ver si la tengo aquí ejecutada. Aquí está la empty application, ¿vale? Hasta así, ¿vale? Si este tenía un tamaño determinado de... Voy a cerrarlo, ¿vale? A ver. Vale, a ver. Y el EVD Manager. Espera porque no estáis viendo solamente lo que no es. Dejo de compartir y comparto pantalla completa. ¿Vale? Ahora que si no, no veis el... ¿Vale? Esto yo lo estaba ejecutando en el momentín. AVD Manager aquí. Está aquí. ¿Vale? Aquí tenemos diferentes tamaños de pantalla, ¿vale? Diferentes dispositivos, ¿vale? Antes lo he probado en el Pixel 4, ¿vale? Si cojo un Nexus 6, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, selecciono aquí el Nexus 6. Le va a costar un poquito, ¿vale? Android lo va a ajustar, ¿vale? Ahí lo tienes, ¿vale? Ha ajustado lo mismo. ¿Vale? Ha ajustado el layout ese a... Perdón, esta no es todavía. Ahora abre. Esta es la otra, me parece. Hello Valencia y button y first fragment y next. ¿Vale? Lo ha adaptado. ¿Vale? Lo ha adaptado a una más pequeña. Luego, además de eso, digamos, aparte de que sea más o menos ajuste un poco, puedas, según la configuración del layout, la puedas hacer flexible para distintos tamaños de pantalla. También cuando creas el layout, yo podría hacer aquí, a ver, nuevo layout, ¿vale? Y podría crear, por ejemplo, uno que fuera Activity Main también, ¿vale? Y ponerle calificadores, ¿vale? Qualifiers, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, dependiendo del tamaño de pantalla, ¿vale? Lo podría añadir el qualifier, ¿vale? Y ponerle distintos tamaños de pantalla, ¿vale? También según la orientación, etcétera, ¿vale? Entonces te da O, por ejemplo, según el modo noche, ¿vale? ¿Vale? Cuando haces, si vas a hacer una aplicación sencilla mostrando solo texto y 4 cosas más, pues a lo mejor con un layout que esté bien diseñado, flexible, te vale. Si quieres algo, si quieres una interfaz de usuario que esté más currada, ¿vale? Pues al final vas a tener que definir diferentes layouts para al menos las configuraciones de pantalla más frecuentes, ¿vale? Podrías hacer algo ajustado en tiempo de ejecución, pero ya es enrollarse, complicarse mucho la vida. Sí, sí, normal. Con propiedades fijas te refieres al tamaño de la fuente o el tamaño del texto. Ya. Sí, te vas aquí a Hola Valencia. Vale, tienes aquí. Vale, le puedes poner, puedes definir también en SPs. Vale, es que lo tengo más grande. A ver, más grande, SPs. Con los DPs y los SPs lo que puedes hacer es ajustar el tamaño, las dimensiones en función de la resolución de la pantalla. Vale, igual ahí también puedes jugar un poco con eso. La playa de fondo, no lo sé, debe ser alguna de California o algo así, porque es la que sale por defecto. Malvarrosa, seguro. ¿Vale? ¿Os aclaráis con lo del tema de las actividades y demás? ¿Qué aplicación habéis elegido? Instagram, muy bien. Teams, sí, vale. Vale. Mucho Instagramero, sí, bueno, Instagram está bien. Si os fijáis, veréis que muchas veces las aplicaciones tampoco son muy complejas a nivel de actividades, ¿vale? ¿Por qué? Porque al final los teléfonos móviles tienen que poder utilizar todo el mundo. Entonces son muy... Hay un equilibrio entre que hay un equilibrio de diseño entre que una determinada actividad se centre en realizar una acción muy concreta, ¿vale? Y al mismo tiempo mantener el número de actividades lo más reducido posible. ¿Por qué? Porque así también al final consigues que cualquier usuario, ¿vale? Por tonto que sea, pues sea capaz de utilizar la aplicación, ¿vale? Si os fijáis, por ejemplo, seguro que tenéis típicamente las aplicaciones que son, no voy a decir menos profesionales, ¿no? Pero sí que a lo mejor están hechas más para un público más técnico, ¿vale? O digamos, sin tener en cuenta tanto la interfaz de usuario, pues lo habitual es que en la misma pantalla te metan un montón de cosas, ¿vale? Mientras que luego las aplicaciones más generalistas o más comunes, ¿vale? Pues un Instagram, de este tipo, las pantallas vamos, cada pantalla es para una cosa, ¿no? Están hechas para tontos, ¿no? Para que cualquiera pueda manejarse. Vale, a ver, mira, hay una. Vale, otro tema, un pequeño tema importante, ¿vale? Que me acaban de comunicar. Algunos de vosotros habéis solicitado cambios de grupo, ¿vale? Desde, bueno, como la situación está como está, ¿vale? Por el tema de los grupos y demás, nos han pedido que no autoricemos ningún cambio de grupo, ¿vale? Entonces, en principio, bueno, os contestaré por correo, ¿vale? Que sí que tengo algún correo que me habéis escrito, ¿vale? A mí o algún otro profesor o profesora, por ejemplo, a Miriam sobre los grupos de laboratorio, ¿vale? En principio no nos dejan autorizar cambios de grupo, ¿vale? De estos que hacemos normalmente sobre la marcha. Sobre todo pensando en una hipotética vuelta presencial a laboratorios, ¿vale? Por el tema de aforos y demás. Los labs en principio, bueno, los vamos a... no es preciso asistir, ¿vale? Consejo es que asistáis, ¿vale? Sobre todo para resolver dudas, ¿vale? Pero en principio la asistencia yo nunca la he planteado como obligatoria, ¿vale? Es el tercer año que imparto la asignatura. Vale, sí que pues para resolver dudas y demás, pues si tenéis problemas, os quedáis atascados en algo, ¿vale? Cuando ya os presente el proyecto, pues siempre es mejor siempre se resuelve mejor en el laboratorio. Sí, se pueden hacer telemáticamente. En principio están planteados para hacerlos telemáticamente, ¿vale? Porque de hecho empezamos, os lo comenté ayer, los laboratorios empezaban, creo, la última semana de febrero. Dejadme que lo revise. Un momentín. A ver, sí, habrá un grupo de Teams para dudas del lab, ¿vale? Lo que he hecho de momento, para no dispersar mucho la información, a ver, espera un momentín, dejadme que compruebe un poco el calendario, ¿vale? Sí, mira, los laboratorios, la semana del 22 de febrero hay laboratorios, ¿vale? Y esa seguro va a ser online, ¿vale? Entonces, vamos, los laboratorios van a ser temáticos, ¿vale? Lo que crearemos será seguramente un canal para cada uno de los grupos de laboratorio, ¿vale? Para tenerlos separados y que no se junten todas las consultas a la vez, ¿vale? Para L1, L3, L2, L4, ¿vale? En unos estará Miriam, en otros estaré yo, ¿vale? Y luego en el resto estará, luego ya en los de más adelante estará Miguel Lozano, ¿vale? Y lo que si queréis se puede hacer o plantearlo por Teams. Sí, yo creo que o plantearlo por Teams o, bueno, yo en el aula virtual he creado un foro, ¿vale? Que pone Question on Android Development, ¿vale? Ahí podéis compartir las consultas que queráis, ¿vale? Cualquier pregunta, etcétera, lo podéis plantear ahí. De hecho, lo que os diría sería más bien de quizá las preguntas más de desarrollo, programación, etcétera, plantearlas aquí en el aula virtual, ¿vale? ¿Por qué? Porque muchas veces las dudas van a ser compartidas. A lo mejor una respuesta pues os vale para muchos, ¿vale? Y luego ya el Teams de cada laboratorio reservarlo para las dudas, digamos, para la interacción durante ese laboratorio, ¿vale? Tenemos que dar una vuelta, ¿vale? Para ver que sea un poco de la manera más ágil y a la vez la más eficiente. Si la aplicación es muy compleja, bueno, puedes seguir uno o dos caminos, por ejemplo. ¿Vale? Es cierto, por ejemplo, si tienes un menú, pues el menú muchas veces te va a permitir navegar a cualquiera de las actividades. ¿Vale? También podéis pintarlo, digamos, desde qué actividad se puede ir a otra. ¿Vale? Pero bueno, con que pintéis, por ejemplo, uno o dos caminos, si la aplicación es muy compleja, es suficiente, ¿vale? Que mostréis un caso de uso y las actividades que se muestran. ¿Vale? ¿Habéis terminado alguno? Vale, genial. Vale, perfecto. Pues nada, lo subís. A ver si habéis subido algo ya. Ah, ya he subido 10, madre mía. Estáis en racha. Vale. A echar un vistazo. Vale. Vale, listo. Pues nada, este fin de semana lo reviso y comentamos algunos, ¿vale? También podéis pensar si, por ejemplo, porque tengo, por ejemplo, aquí la de Cam Scanner, ¿vale? Que habéis subido uno de vosotros, ¿vale? Habláis de que, bueno, está desde A1 navegador, ¿vale? Abre una cámara, ¿vale? Y abre visor PDF y luego comparte, ¿vale? Por ejemplo, también si esas actividades están implementadas en la aplicación, ¿vale? O está utilizando o una actividad de otra aplicación diferente. ¿Vale? Eso también le podéis darle una vuelta, ¿no? Cuando una determinada actividad está implementada dentro de la app, ¿vale? Y cuando la está utilizando de otra app instalada en el sistema. Vale, Lourdes me lo comentaste. Vale, sí, me lo dijiste. Vale, sí, no te preocupes, ¿vale? Lo subes cuando puedas.